It is one of the Spice Girls. What's up? How you
Hey. How are
doing?
you?
I know you're
I'm
doing
actually
a,
really good.
and you know what? I know you're doing a slew of interviews. I had to do a slew of interviews for the U.S., so I know how your day is going. But how are you feeling? I mean, it's one thing to play the game and see it on while you're playing it, but now you get to watch it back. You get to kind of think about what has happened. How are you feeling today?
I'm actually feeling really good. I am just really like feeling so grateful and thankful for the reaction. Like everyone is really nice to me. Obviously, I would have absolutely loved to have $500,000, but I'm also like, if it's for me, it'll be for me, and it wasn't this time.
Now you formed a lot of good relationships now, but you have a distinction no one else has. You played Survivor 123 days.
Yeah, so hectic. I think that's like over 4 months, which is, it's actually like I can't even handle thinking about that because it is so hard.
You get a chance to do something a lot of people want the opportunity to do, but they may never get the
Mhm.
opportunity to do again. But you formed the Spice Girls and you had a relationship with Liz out there. So how was that? How was that? How did that form?
So the first moment I saw Liz, it was on the truck going into the show to our first day. And I was like kind of, because it was day one, so I was wearing mascara. And I was like wiping under my eye to make sure I didn't have mascara running. And she was like, good, like you don't have anything. And I was like, oh, a girl's girl, love it. And then, we just had such like a genuine connection and friendship. And she even shared her sarong with me on our first night, which is a
Oh,
big deal when you're like freezing in Samoa.
yeah, they don't show camp life enough to let people know that there is some things going on, weather wise,
Oh,
food wise, sleeping wise.
it's so hectic, isn't it?
It's like like we slept on in Fiji, we slept on bamboos. That is not the most comfortable surface.
Oh my God. And you have to constantly rotate and you just get bruises in your legs. And then you find that like one specific groove that you have to slot into. It is horrific. I'm so happy you know my pain.
So so we saw last night's episode. Now there was a point during the tribal council where Nina leans over to Sean and tells him, "Hey, you're not the vote." Now on TV, it looks like y'all are all sitting next to each other, where you wouldn't have missed that. Did you pick up on that?
No, I was sitting at the opposite ends, and there's honestly like the entire tribal council, there's people whispering, doing things. So I, I think most of the time I'm just kind of like looking in the fire, trying to get a little bit of on it. So definitely, I don't have that good of hearing. I did not hear that at all.
Now we see that you played your idols this season. To me, you did an outstanding job of playing your idols where they best benefit maintaining your game. You saved George one time, you turned the idol over to the other tribe to save someone, and you went home with an idol.
Yes, I know. It's like I was like, here you go, here you go. And then the one time that I needed to play it, I just didn't. I didn't trust my intuition. I thought I was just going a little bit crazy. So yeah, the idol's just sitting in my closet right now.
Now, are you going to frame that?
No,
Or
definitely not. I don't want that type of bad omen in my house.
no, so there's no tattoo for that idol. Now,
Definitely not. I'll be getting like a sage. I'll be sage sticking my house.
it's interesting. I met George in December at a charity event, and he's the nicest guy ever. But to watch him play the game of Survivor, and I asked Flick this: describe George's game in one word.
Passionate.
And that he
He is
is.
he's so passionate about it, and like, people, you just have to give him credit because he is really living his dream. Like,
Mm.
for a lot of people, they kind of cruise in, play Survivor, cruise out, but he will, he'll get the tattoos, he will live, he loves it. So I think he's definitely like, passion is what I would choose to describe the game.
He seemed like he's thoroughly enjoying himself. Now, what's one thing we didn't see in the edit or we didn't catch on camera that you did out there that you just really enjoyed doing?
Oh gosh. I feel like there was just like some fun moments where we're around camp playing games or laughing, swimming. But you know, these episodes, they're filming like so many hours and they just don't have the time. And I feel like there was so many like funny moments of Geordie, Liz, and I just like on the beach, absolutely like hysterically laughing, crying. And it like never even really showed that Geordie, Liz, and I were such good friends.
I know some of the nighttime activities we had never made the actual cut for edits.
Oh, the nighttime conversations never. Why?
Now, you were the first one that shared a idol to Geordie to save Geordie. Who came up with that idea?
Well, Liz said she needs an idol, and I'm like, yeah, honey, I've already got majority on this side. So the plan was to have majority on both sides. That way, it doesn't matter who loses because we can keep on sending them home, and then by the time we get to merge, we'll have a strong majority.
You just seem like you played such a poised and elegant game. Like, I'm Shonee. Y'all know who I am. I'm going to come back here again and I'm going to do what I need to do. Now, what was one of those big moves in the game that you like, this is all about me?
All about me. I feel like I haven't even really answered many game questions today. I definitely loved like being the one to save George. That was quite
Oh, that was a
fun.
good one.
Especially when they were all so like confident and they weren't even really trying to hide what was going on. Like it was quite evident what was happening. So I thought that was really funny to just be like, me, please, Jonathan. Not my first rodeo.
Now, I will say, as looking at Survivor this season for AU, no tribal council has been a dull moment. It's always something going on at tribal council. Who you think might get voted out is not the person that gets voted out. And we saw a shift in George because due to the edit, where the Spice Girls came up with a new name.
We actually had that name from very early on. But I think one day when we were doing the box challenge, I'm pretty sure Jonathan said cheers, but we never really. But it was always like Liz was always my closest ally from the beginning. And I'm pretty sure it was like day like 6 that we had that name.
It's been a pleasure watching and seeing the dynamics change and develop. Now you got a couple of people that were identified as the hero tribe now with y'all. You got Matt. He used to be a hero. Now is he a villain or is he a hero?
Oh, I think Matt has skipped on over to the bad. Like he's been like so good for so long on the heroes, like sweet little boy, and now he joins the other side, and he's just like looks like he's really lapping it up and loving being naughty. And I mean, as long as he's having fun, that's what I mean. Hopefully, you get $500,000, but if you can have some fun at least, then that's a win too.
It looks like everybody is enjoying the experience and making sure they make the best out of it. So I want to take you back to your very first time when they called you to be on Survivor. What was that feeling? How did you feel when you got that call?
So I was, first of all, I was like so dedicated to getting on the show that I even told my friends, sorry, I'm not going to be able to go on any holidays in April because I'm going to be filming Survivor. They were like, whoa, did you? I'm like, no, hun, I haven't even applied yet, but I know with 100% certainty that I will be getting on. And I went through all of my interview stage and I was very much like myself. I remember saying to like the executive producer, she asked me a question and like, what do you want me to do? Sit at home eating canned tuna? Like, I was so sassy. And then when I got a call from her, I was in the car with my mum, so I got her to pull over and I answered the call and I was like, oh, Top Dog, you must have some good news for me. And she was like, yes, we want him on the show. And I was just like, oh my God, I knew it. I was so excited. Like it was honestly like the craziest thing. And it was even crazier that I knew it was going to happen.
You got to speak it into existence. Now, take me to the phone call when they called you to be on Heroes versus Villains.
So I was doing some babysitting and I was like taking the baby out for a walk, got a call, and I already knew that I would be getting a phone call, but I didn't know what it was for. And to be completely honest, I was hoping it was going to be for a show that had food and accommodation. So when I found out it was Survivor again, I was really excited because I was like, oh, perfect. Like, at least I know this. And also, like, such an amazing opportunity to do something that so many people want to do. So yeah, I was really excited once again. But I did have like a long time to wait before we actually left.
Now, you were out there, you've played the game before, so you're a returnee, you got a little bit more knowledge than all the newbies that are out there playing now. Let's turn to those challenges right quick. What was your favorite challenge?
I loved doing the box, like the crunch holding box challenge, the one that I did with Liz, and that we won immunity for our tribe, the one where we had to like both hold the box between our feet.
Yeah.
I loved that because I've done that 3 times, and the last time I did it was with Brooke, and she is amazing. We lasted, I think it was either 2 hours and 5 minutes or 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I went into that just like super focused, and Liz is an Olympian. Like I knew that she could keep on going. And it was funny when she told me that she was struggling, I was like, yeah, keep going. Like knew that she could do it.
Now, I got to bring up the Hallmark one challenge with George for KFC chicken. I was like,
oh my gosh. Like literally we walked into that challenge and the wind was blowing and the smell of the KFC was just like wafting. I was literally thinking like, if I breathe fast enough, am I going to gain calories from the oil in the air? Like I was desperate for it. So I was so happy that George at least took me to enjoy some KFC before he voted me off.
He was,
Very much.
that was I think you'd have gave back the KFC for at least one more night on Tribal just to see. Now, out of the remaining players, who do you think is really playing and who do you like?
I think it goes without saying that I'm always going to be rooting for Liz. She's my day one and I'm a very loyal friend. So yeah, I have all of my faith, fingers crossed, manifesting everything.
Now, it's always the different dynamics, the different players. This time you have a US player in there too. You got Nina that came over to play, her second time playing. What is the dynamic difference between a US player playing with Australian players?
We actually spoke a lot about this at camp, just hearing about the different, just like the setup of the show. And Nina was saying that in America, everyone gets like one personal camera. So they can literally like do anything. Like they're allowed to go looking for idols. They're allowed to have strat chats whenever they want. So I was just like, oh, wow, that's so beautiful. You guys are living large over there. We're like, one camera between 8.
We in the US, we don't get as much fine dining. there is no lobster. What was your favorite meal for a reward challenge?
Oh, definitely the charcuterie board that George invited me on. That was so good. It was like eating tabanossi and like just getting a little bit of protein was amazing. But I feel like, what did I get? That KFC and then the cookies. So yeah, I didn't really have that many reward wins, but the board was incredible.
Here's a twist question. Out of the heroes and the villains, somebody that's already got voted off, who would you want to bring back if you could to play with him in this particular season? If there was a twist to the game.
To bring probably Geordie.
Oh yeah, the Joker.
Geordie is so fun. Like he is just like an all-round, genuine, lovely guy. And I think it is amazing to have people like that when you are sitting around starving, feeling depleted. Yeah, he's just a lovely guy. He's having a baby any day now, and I'm very excited.
You develop a lot of great bonds from that experience that others really don't get an opportunity to understand entirely because they see it from the viewer's perspective. But as a player, I got to ask you before we wrap it up, one of the key questions, Shonee, Spice Girl, if they call you back.
To play a fourth time?
The fourth time.
I will never say never because I 100% understand what an amazing opportunity. But I have played like over 4 months of Survivor. It is like I would prefer to do something with food and accommodation so I can still give my confessionals and still do my entertaining. But I would love it to be food and accommodation. But I still would never say Survivor because you don't know.
Shonee, it's been a pleasure seeing one of the Spice Girls, meeting you. I wish it was a little further down the interview, but what a great gameplay for you this season. Thank you. Looking forward to see you again. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.